Hello, my fellow patriots. This is Alex with Disabled Vets Perspective, and we're going to try to give this show a go. It looks like YouTube is playing games with live feeds, and look, they were messing with Pete pretty good. But yeah, we're going to give him a minute to get over here. I got to put the link over here so he can grab this and jump on in here when he finishes up. It's going to be interesting. We are going to go back and forth a little bit about the topic on his show. I actually have some articles that I've found that may be of significance, so we're going to definitely look at that. Just take a quick minute. I want to wave my hand. Looks like everybody came over here. Donnie Newman, 12B, good to see you. Margot, pleasure as always. 12B again, he's duplicating. Cindy Duff, how you doing? Blue Lou, welcome. C, I see you. Gary Holland, welcome. Blue Lou again. Eric Chenault, how you doing? Angel Lawrence, 52, welcome. That's good to see everybody. Oh, Job Neal, how you doing? Yeah, all right, over here on D Live. Carmageddon's, welcome to your auctions for you. Hello, J7, welcome. I see your eyes lurking. All right. It's thanks for the follow there, auction for you. Appreciate that. We're trying to get my numbers up live for sure because the just watching what happened with Pete over there, this is going to get worse. And I want to put this D Live link in here just one more time in case people want to jump over to D Live in case we start getting funny things happening to us over here on Facebook and on YouTube, because there is that possibility, because the streaming quality has been reduced and definitely makes for a blur, but what can you do? Anyway, so very interesting conversation over there with Pete, and I noticed the AR-14 assault highlighter at me. It was scaring the hell out of me. I'm afraid that thing's going to go off one of these days, and I'm just going to end up in the pink, as it were. Jeremiah, yeah, they will. They're going to, if George Soros has his way and his dream come true, there won't be a conservative channel left on the internet by the time 2020 election comes. Huey Cobra, appreciate that. Lemon, thank you for dropping that for me. For all you folks that have helped run my channel and run my streams and that kind of thing, trying to help me get my viewing hours up, I appreciate you. Right now I am in the review stage of their tube, so it could be a month, but I have the numbers, I have the watch hours, and everything else is good. So yeah, my glasses were dirty, right? Anyway, so I've got everything I need except for the approval by YouTube, so I'm just waiting on that. And let me drop this thing back in here because it disappears out of the top of the chat pretty quick, and I'm sure Pete's going, come on, man, drop the link, man, come on. So yes, please press the like button. It does help get the stream notification out a little bit, as long as it's not completely oppressed. Yeah, I love those Muppets, the two critics over here on D Live. I don't think I want to know what Yoda is up to. Yeah, don't ask, don't tell. Freebird, appreciate that. Lemon, thank you. Just waiting over here for Pete, because boy, I got some stuff. R-rated conservative, how you doing? Good to see you. You guys were awesome, dropping diamonds on me over there on D Live and stuff. That was really cool. Hello, Franny Pierce. Good to see you. I'm just giving it a couple of minutes and waiting for Pete to jump over here and giving a chance for everybody to settle in and get comfortable and get ready to start yelling at the TV. I shared your D Live stream. Well, thank you. Appreciate that, Huey Cobra. Very much. Thank you. Steak 59 and J7. Appreciate the lemons. Thank you. All right. Yeah, thumbs up with a beer. Dub bear. Umpire's Post, how you doing? All right. I know it's taking a minute for Pete to get over here, but I'm just trying to drag my feet for just a minute while I'm waiting on that. I guess I can reduce the size of this page, and then I can see when he gets over here, maybe. Oh, all right, ladies and gentlemen, the man of the hour, or the last hour, and the next hour, the one and only, truly important, Mr. Pete, the Patriot.
What's happening? It kicked me off twice.
Filthy, thank you.
I tried to log in.
It's going to be an interesting day.
I tried to log in twice. As soon as I got to the point where I was going to click on the stream link, it kicked me out. And I started again, and it kicked me out. And I started again, and now here I am. So
wow,
I'm here.
Time's a charm, you know what they say.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All righty.
Let me open the show by saying that when I was watching your show, I was truly, completely, and overwhelmingly disgusted at the fact that you said oh so many times, and not once did we get the
oh,
you know
man.
how hard that is.
Yeah. You know what?
Oh man. That was killing me.
I'm sorry. I brought out the and I'm not even going to say what it is. I brought that out because I was completely and utterly disgusted about what I was watching on TV. I was what TV? The YouTube about those senators going up there and what Nancy. What she did, it completely disgusted me. I don't know if that came over in my live stream. I don't know if I projected my
it was dripping.
Yeah. But I don't even know.
Yeah, it's
good.
It's hard. Well, yeah, I mean, it's just, we're going to talk about it too, unfortunately, but you know, you got to be on the trigger, because trying to say that name without the appropriate, know, boos and hisses is, you know, that's going to be brutal.
What name was that?
Oh God, you're going to make me sick. Are you going to really, you're going to make me do it?
What, who? There's
Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah. Okay, it's working.
Yeah. Okay. Just
she's a hack.
God. All right.
She is a hack.
Oh man, she's as criminal as it comes. But I wanted to start this really by talking about the fake news, and then we'll ease back into some of the other more truly disgusting stuff. But I don't know if you guys are aware, but New York Times, in order to appease their Democrat base, had to change a headline on their press because two of those times put the reality on the Democrats that they are as nasty as they're acting. And then the third one had to make it sound like, oh, it looks like they couldn't find a bipartisan agreement to work with each other. So, you know, this fake news has got to stop. I'm a favor of free speech. Absolutely. But there's an element of criminality when you are trying to sway a public opinion and withhold information from the public to create more of a disaster than truly exists. And also, when you use the media to go to war, these are things that are not okay. There should be extreme penalties. I mean, free speech thing, but you know, there should be something.
No.
I mean, they shouldn't be allowed to broadcast in an open forum.
No, Joe Biden said it himself when he was up there at one of his rallies a few weeks ago before he went into seclusion, and he was trying to dribble through telling somebody something. He said free speech is not free speech. You can't run into a theater and yell fire. That's criminal. What the New York Times, what all these people are doing, Alex, is criminal. They're spreading disinformation, and I'm going to use this term. I'm going to use this term as much as I can during this unprecedented time to spread their disinformation and their hatred of this current administration. It's criminal, and they should be held accountable for it.
Yeah. Well, I agree, but they are the Democrats.
It's okay when they have.
They are the Democrats, so they have a certain allotment.
But it's okay for them to have free speech, spreading propaganda the way that they do, even though that it's hurting the American people right now during this unprecedented crisis. That's a crock of crap, if you ask me.
Right. Well, speaking of the unprecedented crisis, it turns out that a new report shows them sealed more than 43,000 confirmed cases of the sniffles from the official report. No kidding.
Oh, yeah. And the guy from the WHO.
Also, he's a pig. Oh, we're going to talk about him, too. Yeah, bought and paid for propagandist right there.
You got that straight.
You know what? We're also going to talk about the fact that, let me mention this and then we're going to move forward. But it says the 2020 Olympics to be postponed likely until 2021. So that is very, that's, I'm not a big major sports person. I used to like to play football and stuff, but I love my Olympics, and I have to wait 2 years at a time to get my Olympic sports. So this is going to kill me having to wait another year. I guess the advantage is the next Olympics would only be a year away. The bright side and all that. Yeah. Anyway, those were reports that I got from the Blaze. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. All right, let's see here. You still there?
Yeah, okay. I'm still here.
You're holding so still. I can't tell if you're there.
I'm sorry. Oh, you know what? All right. Can I mention one thing?
That sucks. I mean, I'm glad to hear that.
I just want to mention one thing before we get into this. And I wanted to mention this in my live stream. And since everybody from there is here, I can do it. I had a text message from Jackie Evans, who is a subscriber to my channel. I met her through Truth Seeker. She's a great person. She's a great friend. Mm-hmm. She is in the medical field, and she is actually dealing with people in intensive care that have the sniffles virus. That's the kind of healthcare work that she does. So right now she's dealing with one patient at her place that has the virus. And I would just like to ask everybody if they can to keep her and everybody else who is dealing with this crap on the front lines in your prayers every day, because those are the people who are going to get us through this. And I'd like to say that, Jackie, you're in my prayers. Stay safe. Wear 3 of everything if possible. And thank you for letting me say that. I appreciate it. So go ahead.
Oh, man, you can say anything you want on here. This is an open forum. All right, so here we go. The headline here, and this is Red State that I'm reading a couple of these headlines from. It says cinematic stasis takes place. No box office figures this weekend as studios reorganize the release plan. You know what? When I learn to read, this is going to come across a lot easier. So the weekend studios reorganized release plans. So you're not going to get information about movie releases. Big deal. That's the top headline of the red state right now. I'm sorry, but with these actors doing all their tweets and reminding us mentions like Madonna sitting there jaybird naked in a bathtub with her rose petals and her candles around her, sitting in the dirty water, and you wonder how the hell that water got that color, but that's none of my business. But talking about how hard this is, bitch, please. This is a campaign. Go ahead, please.
That wasn't a message for us. That was a message for her friends. Because right at the end of that video, when she said, if I go down, we all go down. Or something to that effect. That was a message to her friends.
Yeah, if the ship goes down, we all go down with it.
Yeah, do you see what she looks like? She doesn't even.
She was never much of a looker to me, anyway.
But she doesn't even look like Madonna. Not even if Madonna was older, she doesn't look like Madonna. I wasn't even sure I was watching Madonna.
Yeah,
that was a coded message to all of her friends.
They're all kind of looking pretty rough because.
Yeah.
Right. But it's also part of the propaganda team because they're trying to get people to conform to this new reality, and they always use the stars because they figure the sheep will follow the stars.
That's right.
They use them to get people to obey. So it's partly for their little team, but it's also for the public. This is going to be okay. You go ahead and go to your house and you stay there. We're suffering through this with you. And that's the part that just pisses me off. They have never understood what it's like to do anything when you have nothing. No. I mean, there are a few actors that came up from nothing, but very, very few. And if you think about it, the ones that came from nothing tend to be Trump supporters and, conservatives. The ones that came up from being indoctrinated or bred into the stardom, they have no concept of reality whatsoever.
No. And you're seeing the effects of what's going on here every time they put out a video. Today you had what's that guy? Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro was out there putting out a PSA for Cuomo. And Danny DeVito putting out a PSA for Cuomo, telling people to stay in their house because I don't want to get sick. It's not even about don't spread the virus. I don't want to get sick. I mean, you know what? These people are so self-serving. It's disgusting that they're even allowed to be on there saying the things that they're saying. And then you have somebody like Mike Rowe. You know who Mike Rowe is, right? The guy from Dirty Jobs.
Right.
He was on Fox and Friends this morning. Mike. Yeah, from early this morning, he was on Fox and Friends doing an interview on his phone. And he was saying, not promoting himself, not promoting his book that was released, although they did promote it, but he didn't. He was saying, I don't know how to say thank you enough to the first responders, the people who are on the front lines. He goes, I'm at a loss for words. Those are the people who are actually doing.
Well, that's the kind of person he is.
Yeah. And then, okay, what about the other people? Stay home because I don't want to get sick. Oh, F you.
Well, here's the other thing the other thing about this whole stardom thing is the same ones that are telling you, oh, I've got COVID-19 and I'm locked in my house. This thing is supposed to knock you in the dirt. If you're 45 and above, it's supposed to be a fever, chills, body aches, all this other. And you've got them sitting in their house talking about how miserable it is and working on their phone, doing all their stupid crap. You can see through it like it's a window. It's so fake. And everybody just has to remember that they are actors.
Yeah.
And they kind of suck at it right now. I think the adrenochrome that they are lacking is cutting into their ability to act, definitely into their ability to look, because some of these people look like they're turning into zombies after only a month or two without their adrenochrome.
Ellen DeGeneres. Look at Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah,
this has been
she
3
aged
weeks.
like 20 years.
3 weeks. She's been off the air. And she looks like she's aged 25 years in those 3 weeks. Her speech is slurred. Her face looks like it's going to fall off. Something's not right here. Ice cream, something's crooked.
And Sergeant Bob, thank you for the ice cream. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's disgusting. But, the propaganda wing needs to be put in check. And that means Hollywood's end of it, too. But anyway, so next subject here. Mitch McConnell unloads on Democrats for playing politics on the sniffles relief bill. Here we go. We have a fairly general consensus, a bipartisan sit down with folks, and they're willing to come down and approve a bill that will help the American people. I'm going to have to say it. Nancy Pelosi comes from California. Little late, but it helps. But anyway, she comes from California after wading through the heaping piles of crap that are on her own streets, and then wants to put things into this new proposal that won't allow the money to go to where it needs to go. It will siphon off money to put towards her pet project of abortion, and also her, corporate sponsors, and also the people that are lobbying DC. You want to make sure to take care of them. This is absolutely no time. If this thing is as real as everybody's hyping it up to be, then somebody needs to put DC in check. And I don't know what that would take. I would not be an advocate for increasing the presidential power to that level, but the American people do have capabilities that they forget about. They could call Nancy Pelosi. They could email her. They can wear that woman out. Communication.
And they should.
I know it fell out. They could wear her out. Yeah. I mean, there shouldn't be a phone not ringing in DC. The computers should absolutely melt on the desk. These people have got to be contacted, and they need to know the American people are truly disgusted. And I mean, the patriots of this nation are literally a ticking time bomb, because they're watching all of their rights of every description being completely erased. So they better put themselves in check and get it figured out real soon.
I talked about on my show, then this pertains to exactly what you're saying about idiot number one and idiot number two, Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough on MSNBC. They were saying also.
Okay, hold on. Wait. I got just one tiny little announcement about Joe. Okay. He used to be a representative down here in my area. Okay. Yep. I used to work in television. I worked at WSRE TV over in Pensacola as a cameraman and a floor manager. Okay. One day he comes in there because he's going to be doing a live teleconference or whatever they're going to do. And I'm standing there talking to the boss of the TV station, and I've got my headset on and I'm leashed to a camera on the other end of the room. And he comes walking up. He sees the cord behind me. He knows there's no path. So he goes walking in toward, like he's going to walk in behind me and in between me and my cable. And he looks at me and he goes, "Move." That dude is a pig. And I told him right there in front of the boss of the TV station to go F himself. And
Good for you.
then all of a sudden he kind of gets all, he started all bowed up, like move. And then when I told him to go F himself, then all of a sudden he shrinks back down a little bit and he turns and he walks around me the other way. But I wanted to throw that in there because I know Joe. I was there when he was doing his little briefing. He's really an arrogant prick, and he thinks that the world revolves around him. But when you pop back at him, he shrivels up, like a he's like a coward that has the strength of television. But anyway, please continue. That's where I wanted to leave that.
I honestly forgot what I was going to say because I got enthralled in what you were saying. I honestly did.
That wasn't my intention.
No. But that was a good story, though.
You were talking about Mika and Joe.
Yeah.
You were talking about them. You can't get it back?
I can't get it back. I cannot get it back. It'll come to me. Don't worry.
Oh.
Go ahead. Continue.
Yeah, DM.
What was the story you were talking about?
The deal with Joe Scarborough being a real moron.
Oh,
but
well,
are you talking about before that?
Yeah, you brought up a story.
The point was making. Yeah, I was. Hey, Propus, Watchful Warrior, good to see you guys. PDX Scott, welcome. Yeah, I was talking. We were just basically getting started with the discussion of the games that are being played by the elected officials, and the fact that the American people need to start calling them. But I mean, you pretty much covered it and wiped the floors all the way to the ceiling with it in your last hour. So I'm going to let yours stand. And if anybody hasn't seen that yet, you need to get back over there and watch Pete the Patriot, the hour long today, because it was a doozy. But anyway, we're going to change the topic here, and we're going to go to another pile that needs to be discussed. And when I say discussed, I mean disgusting. The man that the WHO has as their leader, this man, he's being ridiculed right now for basically creating a panic around the world, and the numbers don't line up to the fear that he's created, and he could be single-handedly responsible for crashing economies all over the world. But somehow he is the authority in this, and we're supposed to listen to this idiot so that we can get our advice on how to handle the sniffles. But tell me something about him. What do you think?
This guy needs to be relieved immediately, and he needs to be prosecuted for putting out false information. Okay, this guy, this Pakistani, what is he, a Pakistani or an Indian or an Afghanistan guy?
He's Ethiopian.
Ethiopian, whatever.
He's from Ethiopia.
Okay, this guy put out false information 2 months ago about what was going on in China and the WHO involvement in how they were handling this pandemic over in Wuhan. He put out false information then. He just got called out by a couple of senators, I think, for putting out false information about Italy.
Right.
And somebody had
Thank you for the ice cream, DM. That can go towards my cuss jar.
Somebody had put out that he was on China's payroll, that the Chinese were paying him to suppress the information that was going on in China because to use it for American propaganda purposes. Now, if any of that is true, and that's only by what I can read, if any of that was true, this guy needs to be taken out immediately and prosecuted, because what he is doing is crashing economies. on the scare,
right?
or
I'll bet you
the lack of scaring how bad it really was in Wuhan, China.
Right.
And Hubei, China. And the
Right.
numbers that are coming out.
And I'll bet if you look back far enough, I bet you will find a link between the WHO director and Jorge Soros. I would just be willing to bet. I've got an image here, and this is again on the red state, but he is shaking hands and all buddy-buddy with Xi Jinping of China. So that tells you his loyalties already. And he has been the propaganda arm of the Chinese Communist Party since the start of this. And, you know, I don't know. I think that the WHO should be shut out of decision-making and information distribution completely. And I think that would be a good start to putting some corrections on this.
When does coincidence start to become reality for people? How many times can you have a coincidence happen before people start saying, you know what, something is not right here. Something is not right. When I was on the Let's Be Frank show, when I was on the Let's Be Frank show, he asked me a question about China and about the numbers in China. And I said it like this. You have 60 million people that are quarantined. I don't know if anybody's ever seen Wuhan, China, but these people live on top of each other, stacked like cordwood. The streets are constantly packed. There's no 6 feet in between anybody. And you're trying to tell me that China only had 3,000 deaths from this unprecedented pandemic, and then you have the WHO backing that up.
Right.
What a coincidence. I digress.
Right. Well, here's another thing. Wave a hand real quick. CLC, good to see you there. Old Reliable, welcome. Jason Chenault, Zombie 5 Dumpster Dive, how are you doing? PDX Scout, welcome. Lisa's waving her hand too. Kelly 22, good to see you. Another thing I wanted to add to this is it seems like a coordinated effort that was used between the WHO, the media, and the Democrat Party with a goal in mind for this virus to take hold a lot more than it did, in order to make it more of an issue with the idea of just removing the president and scaring everybody into complete and total submission, so that the implementation of socialism could be done without any resistance. You had, when President Trump said he wanted to stop travel from China, the media and the left went absolutely crazy. No, we need to let everybody in. Travel is not going to have anything to do with the spread of this virus. I heard an idiot on CNN say that closing borders will not stop a disease from getting in country. What the hell does he mean by that? Does he mean that you already have people that are here spreading it according to how they were told to do it? We had one lawyer that was responsible for getting it into several states. They traced it to one man. So they're freaking out about closing the borders, which stopped the flow of the virus. Now the media is saying that he's a racist and all this other crap. And then you've got the Democrats right now talking about, well, we don't want to help the American people. We want to make sure that we can help our globalists. And then the WHO organization playing down all the numbers, so that they wanted this thing to come in and have a much more dramatic effect, so that they could use it for their political ideology. Hello, Deplorable Bobby. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, I mean, tell me I'm wrong. Prove me wrong.
We're not dying fast enough.
Charles, right.
For the media, we're not dying fast enough. we're not getting those Wuhan infection numbers and those death tolls. Look at any cable news network.
Right.
I don't care which one it is. They have a thing on the side that, you know, when you frame your screen, it has the banner running along the bottom and the thing up on the side that says death toll, infected and death toll. It's the death toll. We're not dying fast enough for them. Because if we did, I guarantee you they would be using it as a political weapon against this administration. Joe Biden himself said the president, for closing China off to travel to the United States in the early stages of this, was a xenophobe. Joe Biden asked 3 days ago whether he still thought that the president was a xenophobe for closing the border to China in order to stop the flow of this pandemic happening. Joe Biden said yes.
Yeah. Well, whatever he says, you can write it off. He is not saying anything. He can't structure a sentence and remember to put a period behind it at this point.
He is
I don't
shadowing
look
the
at
president's
anything.
briefings. He's coming on right behind the president's briefings.
Whoever has their hand shoved up his ass and is working his mouth parts, I mean, that's what you have to look at. If somehow somebody could disrupt his speech writers, then, you know, if you could get a hold of that teleprompter, like there was a movie, I guess, I don't remember what it was, but somebody got in the back and started typing on the teleprompter, and the guy that was reading the news just started making all these sound effects and looking really stupid. So,
that was Bruce Almighty, I think.
Bruce Almighty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's a moron, but that was a funny movie. But that's the kind of thing I could see somebody doing to get a hold of his teleprompter and start firing off like that, because he is such a puppet, incapable of producing his own dialogue, that he would probably read it without even realizing he's doing it. Yeah, Joe Biden is irrelevant. Watchful Warrior says it best. I mean, he really is. We can just write him off and be done with it. But he is going to try to be their front man to counter anything the president does, which is going to be useless. And the more this continues, the more they're doing us a favor, because it's saving us some of the effort trying to wake up the sheep. So, you know, thank you for them. God bless them for that. It does make this job easier.
I don't understand how you can be a Democrat, right? And you also got to understand that the people that the Democrats target are the people who make $75,000 a year and under. That's their target.
Right.
Okay. How you, as a person who they target, can look at the person that you elected and say, hey, we're going to hold up this bill in order to get you people money because we want to interject so you can have abortions, so you can have your student loans paid off.
Yeah.
So you can have all of our talking points that we promised. We're going to use this unprecedented pandemic to clog up the system so you can get nothing. If they don't have their eyes open after this, Alex,
right,
there is no hope for them. There is no hope for them.
Well, another example of the absolute lunacy of the media is this guy, this Stelter moron, the little fat doughboy, weeble wobble or whatever the hell he is. I bet if you pushed him over, he'd come swinging right back up, just like the old weeble wobbles.
Yep.
This guy is an absolute moron. He's
is.
spinning some crap on the news saying that Fredo's older brother actually calling Wuhan virus response. Really? I know that the mainstream media likes to give Como more airtime when he's doing his briefings. I made that point to my wife the other day. I was like, there's, according to Obama, there's 56 other states besides New York that, their governors might be interested in having a little airtime so that they can get information out to their people. But no, they let Como have an hour of airtime before the president comes up with the virus team. So the whole thing is with the media designed to create a disconnect between the reality and the people. And now the downright socialism, communism thing in New York, he wants to lock that puppy down and enforce it with the military and the police. So yeah, something's up with this.
And now you have people saying that, maybe we should have Cuomo run for president since he's handling this so well. He's handling New York so well. And it brings me back to what I was going to say before with Mika Brzezinski, because it came back into my head. And I'm gonna say it, and then I'm going to equate it to what you're talking about right now, because it all fits in together. Mika and Joe, the dumb people, said the president should stop listening to governors, that the president should take control, the U.S. government should take control of the country and get the people what they need and not limit it to governors asking for stuff. Now, that's what I was going to say earlier, before you told me that Joe Scarborough was a jerk, which was a better story than that. But here you go. Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough, two of the most liberal people on the planet, is telling you to have the president take the country over. Isn't that called a somebody help me out? A dictatorship?
I might know.
Isn't that a dictatorship?
Okay. Everything that a Democrat does has an ulterior motive, and you have to think deeply about this one.
I don't.
They think.
Say it.
That they. Okay, I know you don't have to, but if you look at the way things are being set up, they're trying to make it so that there is no way the president can win the next election, because they've got the illegal vote, they've got the voter fraud, they've got the dead vote, they're refusing to fix voter logs. They're already setting it up. They're telling you the president's going to cheat. They're going to dispute the results. All of this, they want the president to take over as a dictator right now.
Yep.
That way, when they win in 2020, they can say, well, a Republican president did it last, so we're going to go ahead and continue what he started.
Absolutely.
But also, he signed that bill a week ago, that would give the president incredible sweeping control and power over the country. Truly epic. And he is saying he is not going to use it unless absolutely necessary. But the Democrats are almost screaming at this man to implement it. And it's because they think they will. Yeah, they think they will have the power that the president has once he authorizes its use. They still believe that the Democrats are in control and not the president. They really think that they will be able to have the decision-making authority if he implements this bill or this executive order. So, yeah, what can you do?
Do they not understand that the president doesn't need Congress at this particular time? The president, under a national emergency, can write executive orders that can be implemented right now. They don't need Congress. Trump can go to the Fed and say, give me $3 trillion and disperse it as he wants to. But in order to keep a semblance of government and continuity, he's allowing the Democrats to hang themselves by voting no on stimulus bills. Right. This is not just it going to come up and it just, no, this is planned out. This is planned out. You're watching Nancy Pelosi hang herself. Every Democrat who voted no on closer for that bill today,
too.
They're hanging themselves because that one person who voted for them in their district, they're going to say, why are you standing up there saying that I can't get my check? I got rent to pay in 10 days. You're voting no.
Right.
Not only did impeachment implode their party, this is done. This is done.
Thank you for the ice cream, Duke.
And Armageddon is lurking. I like those little lurking guys.
It's a little spooky, but that's that Brian Stelter moron.
Brian Stelter is nothing.
Yeah, I like that too. I might steal that emoji, but I won't tell him.
Isn't that cool?
Because I won't assume he's back there because he's just lurking, so I can do it without knowing it.
Brian Stelter is nothing but, if you look close enough at Brian Stelter when he's on TV, you can actually see the leash around his neck that Zucker is pulling. You could see it.
Yeah, that and the slappy paddle.
All righty. On to the next one.
I know it's hurled right then. Right. Quick, change the subject. All right. Let's see.
Change the subject.
CNBC anchor gives Dems the benefit of a doubt, but leader McCarthy doesn't. Yeah, the media is trying to cover for the Dems, and I don't know how you can untwist this web that the Democrats have created, because the media is just dying over here trying to figure out how to make it so it looks like the Republicans are against the people. They're losing the ability.
Yeah, they're trying though. They're really trying.
Yeah, well, somebody here, Kurt Schlitzer, I believe, Schlitzer, something like that, made a very bold statement here. And this is Town Hall that I'm looking at here. And it says, the people, our loser elite, look down upon our saving our bacon. So somebody actually writing a headline informing the people that the elite would rather us die, be absolutely destitute, and we would be begging for the military and begging for our government to go socialized so that we can have what we need to survive. This whole thing just stinks with a motive. And it's just, it's all over the place. And the governors are trying to implement socialization or socialism in their states. They're stopping the purchase of weapons by not telling you can't buy a weapon, but telling the gun companies that they can't do background checks right now, which makes it so you can't buy a weapon. The backdoor crap. And that leads me into the next subject. This huge sweeping Second Amendment restriction that's going through going into committee right now. This thing has a clause in there. It says, basically, I'm going to paraphrase, but it says that you have to have a license to buy a gun. But in order to get the license to buy the gun, you have to have live fire training with that gun. I want you to think about that with me. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, drop it like a Scott in the house. Put something up or drop it like a Scott. Just jump in the house. Where you at? All right. Yeah. I read that
Why
though.
don't you say
And that's
that
just
again,
like,
Alex?
you've got to
Say that again real slow.
okay, real slow. You have to have the license to buy a gun. You cannot get that license until you have had live fire training on that gun. So
wait a second. So what you're saying is
it
that
doesn't have to be explained.
I can't get the gun because I haven't trained on the gun that they won't give me because I don't have the license. So therefore, I just don't get the gun.
That's
too many steps.
Yes. Wow,
that's
you're
too
good.
many steps. I'm telling you, man. That's too many steps.
But here's the problem with this thing. It's sitting in committee.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The thing is sitting in committee. What they're waiting on, they're watching the people from the Senate and the House drop like flies off into their quarantine dens. And I want to take you back to a year 1913. That was the year the Federal Reserve Act was passed into law.
That's a good year.
And that act was passed into law at about 4:05 in the morning. Mm-hmm. And most of the people that were our state legislators were at home sleeping. So they had a very few people actually vote on this bill. The same thing is going to happen with this Second Amendment grab. The people are waiting. It's being held in committee, and they're waiting as the one after another, the elected officials get picked off by the corona sniffles. And once they get the number down low enough, they are going to throw this thing to the floor and they are going to jam the vote right up our alimentary canal. And it will be a law just like the Federal Reserve Act of 1913.
Yep. But here's the thing that they're not anticipating. This is the thing that they're not anticipating. Go ahead and pass your stupid law. You know what that's going to create? A bigger black market for firearms in this country. Let's put it this way. This is the new catchphrase. They're going to put illegal purchases of firearms at an unprecedented scale. On an unprecedented scale. Because remember, for every one firearm that's registered in this country, there's 6 that are not. And those 6 firearms are going to make their way into the hands of people who, I just can't purchase a gun legally. Oh, I know you. You're a friend of mine. Don't worry about it. Here, I got this shotgun or I got this pistol I'm not using. Give me $300. You can have it. Not to say that doesn't go on now, but it will go on an unprecedented level once they do this. That's what maybe they see that and maybe they don't. But odds are they don't.
Right. Well, the liberals, I mean, I don't know if I like to think that people aren't that stupid, but every time I say that, somebody says, oh, yeah, because these people just, hold my beer and give me a second. It's amazing that they can write a bill like this, and the liberals will just blindly go, yes. They don't understand the stupidity of the circular writing of these bills.
No, they don't. And they're perfectly happy to give up their rights for the children. Do it for the children.
You save the children. For the love of God, save the children. Oh, you need an abortion? Oh, let me hook you up. I got somebody down the street that'll take care of that for you right quick.
No problem. You want to kill a baby? Not a problem.
They're such hypocrites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they're depending on.
I don't know, man. It's just
they're depending on the stupidity of their constituency. That's what they're depending on. because their propaganda machine has shoved it down there.
And the criminality.
Yeah, well,
right.
No,
they need their propaganda, they need their sheep, and they need their criminality when it comes to voting the counts or counting the votes. Either one you want to do, because it doesn't matter who votes, it matters who counts the votes. And in liberal cities, you can bet they know who counts the votes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We got 4 minutes left, 6 minutes left. I want to go over something real quick before we end this thing, because not everything that you have to take needs to be a chemical. And I got this report. A former CDC director, Tom Frieden, on challenges U.S. faces with the sniffles. And he's sort of talking about alternative medicines that you can take that might actually help you with this thing, just like the chemical ones. And one thing that might help is an obvious as the sun in the sky, and that is a close look at your medicine cabinet, specifically vitamin D. If you think about this thing is it's resembling that of a flu virus. And a flu doesn't like sunlight. UV rays kill viruses very quickly. Quit talking. That's why they don't last through the summer, because you have longer periods of daylight, you have more exposure to the sun, and viruses get pretty annoyed at UV and vitamin D. So if you were to kick up your vitamin D and maybe add a vitamin C to it, then you might stand a pretty good chance of protecting yourself from this thing. Maybe not 100%, nothing's 100%, but you need to be looking at the alternative options for medication and not always be willing to jump right into chemical factory and start taking all of the poisons and everything, because this medication that they're saying is effective. It may be effective. That's great. But it also has a side effects list. And every time you hear medication on the TV, may cause erectile dysfunction, may cause sphincter disorders, and all these other. And then the last thing is, and death may occur. Should you experience death, please contact your doctor immediately.
Yes.
So be willing to try things that the earth has given us for billions of years before running to the chemical closet. That's what I wanted to say before we got out of here. Anything you want to add?
I agree that
good point.
Anal leakage is nothing to laugh about. Death is nothing to laugh about.
Yeah, well, it can be relatively. The good thing about that is you never have to worry about that one reoccurring.
Yes.
Once you've caught it, you're done. You're completely immune to it in the future.
Exactly.
But, all right, so let me finish up here with one last thing, because I need to give a little bit of Florida info for all my Florida folks out here, and let you know that the stupidity crosses state borders. Palm Beach County closes boat ramps and marinas to recreational boating in the Sniffles fight. Now, they want people to isolate, to self-quarantine. Last time I checked, I believe the earth is surrounded by about 70% water. So if you go out there and you get on your little boat sea and you pull that thing out of the docks and you head out, 500 feet from the dock, you are pretty isolated. I'm just saying, I don't even know where to go with that. Some of these closures are just that stupid.
Yep. I don't even know what that is.
An entire statement. Yep.
I don't even know how to reply to that, because once again, it's big government telling you common sense. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know, man. I got a 34-foot sailboat with all the provisions. Basically, if I jumped on that boat and I headed out, I could basically, with a little bit of work, we could be heading over across the Atlantic. It would take me a month or more to get across the Atlantic. I believe that the quarantine that they're talking about is 14 days. So I'm thinking that it is possible that since it takes me a month to cross the Atlantic Ocean, that I would probably exceed that 14-day mark. You know, I guess I'm not as good at math as I thought, but it just feels that way.
Yeah, I think that would be about right. It's close.
Yeah, so somebody needs to explain why the hell we need to close the boat ramps and the marinas and keep people away from their boats. But I don't know. I'm not going to be able to figure that one out. But
I don't know. I don't either.
It leaves you scratching your chest. I see that.
It makes about as much sense as they do. That's the only thing I can say. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish I had an intelligible answer. I don't.
Right. Well, I just don't believe there is one. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, so that with that being said, that's our hour, folks. Pete, as always, you are the rock star here. I appreciate you.
Oh, not me, brother.
You add a definite perspective to the disabled vets perspective. But to my mods, I appreciate the hell out of you guys. You keep the house in order, and thank you for all the lemons and the ice creams and the diamond and all the other good things. Those will all be donated immediately to my cuss jar, and I will work on adding more to the cuss jar later. With that being said, appreciate my folks over here on D Live. If you join me on Facebook, thank you very much for that. And of course, over here on YouTube. And if you haven't yet, please follow me on D Live. I've got all my links below my videos for my Bitchute, my D Live, my email, the Discord server, all of this stuff. So go underneath my videos, pick the links you like the best, and join me, follow me, and stay with me, because it's going to get harder and harder to do what we do on YouTube. The time is coming. We've been getting good examples of it. But all right, so anything you want to say on the way out the door, Pete?
Just stay safe. If you see a first responder, tell them thank you. Anybody who's out there on the front lines of this bull crap, just go up to them and say thank you. That's all you got to do. Let them know that they're appreciated.
Yep.
That's all I got.
And please, let's remember our small businesses. The small businesses are going to be in trouble first in this thing. The big corporations are going to have their bailouts, and they're going to be taken care of. The crony capitalism is in full effect. So remember the little guys. If nothing else, drop a tip on them. Small business, just go in there and throw a 5-spot on the counter and say, just helping you out. Appreciate what you do. All right, folks. With that all being said, y'all stay in the fight.